Oh, here we go.
Good
Live.
evening. Come on.
We're live.
Good evening, everybody.
True to form, Scott.
What's going on now?
Scott's disappeared. We just
Can
need
you hear me?
Mike to go sideways, you to go all
Yeah, I
pixelated,
can hear you.
to stop. Me to start snapping and cackling.
I think I've what have I done here?
Nothing if not amateur. That's for sure.
Professional as ever.
So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the professionally run Contacts in Blood.
Hey, Scott.
Right,
nice
good.
of you to join us.
Oh,
I just minimised it for some reason. I don't know why. Hello, everyone. Right, I'm good.
Sam.
Hello, Sam.
Evening, everyone.
Mr.
No, do you know what I just discovered? That you can actually go to the chat on your phone.
Peter.
Yeah, they've turned that on.
Yeah, but I couldn't get back out of it. That's why I minimised it by mistake.
Gordon,
Jay.
join us.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
So you can
how you
actually
going?
put the chat that's going on your phone, Scott.
What's that?
You could see the actual chat part of it.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
if you go down, it's got mic, cam, and chat. But if you go into the chat, you can't see the screen. You can't see everyone. So
okay.
I wouldn't let me back out, so I minimised it and then I cut off. The usual.
We'll leave Andy in charge of that. Eh?
Yeah, he can do that. It's too. I've already fucked up already.
Is there many watching, Andy, at the moment? Is there many in?
Got 7 so far. We did have 8, so we've lost 1 person already. So that's a great start. How you boys doing? Good week.
Yeah, I'm a bit lighter financially. I bought a car, and so I spent my record budget for the month.
Record
Must have
budget
got a small car.
year,
So,
yeah.
So we've got a special guest, as you all know, from the title of this. Jay Walsh from XENTRIX is going to join us very, very shortly. Mike, you've got a bit of an announcement of the competition that we ran in the last live stream.
Yes, we've received the new Hellripper album, and it's signed. You might not be able to say that now, but it is signed by James, and I will admit I have played it, so I'm very sorry to the winner. But Andy can announce the winner's name, and if you message me, whoever you are, I'll get this sent out to you first thing Monday morning. So, Andy, you've got his name, have you?
Yeah. So basically, the background of the competition was that we basically put out to everyone who watched the last time to name Hellripper's goat. So what we did is we compiled a list of all the names that you guys came up with, and we sent that list to James, and he picked his favourite. So Andy, would you like to announce the winner and the name of his
so
goat?
the winner was Chris Howard is the winner, and the winning entry was Hellgoat McGruff. So Chris, give one of us a shout, and we'll get that out to you. Okay, we've got our guest waiting in the green room, so I want to get him out sooner rather than later. So I might go on for the job.
Yeah. What I was going to say was, if the winner wants me to sign this as well, I mean, I'm happy to oblige.
Well, you've played it. You might as well lick it and everything, Mike.
That's what I'm thinking. Get the full package.
Yeah.
All right. It's usually about us, but it's not about us tonight. So everybody, welcome, Jay.
Hiya.
On the screen.
Hello there, brother.
How you doing, Jay?
How you doing? All good, man. All good.
Thanks for joining us.
No worries. All good. Good to be here.
Good evening, Jay. Nice one. Thanks for sparing an hour or so of your time with us.
What's that you're drinking?
Guinness, of course.
Nice.
Of course.
Cheers.
Good man.
So how will we start this then? Do you want to give us a wee bit of a kind of background to yourself, Jay, and how you and XENTRIX all kind of came about?
Well, I asked Stan how the new album was going and when it was going to be out, basically. I've met Stan a few times, didn't know them like majorly well or anything. I spoke to Dennis years ago when I was setting up the first bands. Anyway, we played Thrashosaurus. This is pretty much where it came about, I think. So we played Thrashosaurus and with my other band, and we were main support for XENTRIX on the Saturday. And I had a few drinks and what have you, chatted with Stan and Den mainly. And then where were we? Bloodstock. Stan was helping Kill to This out, and I was helping out another band that was on there. And I bumped into him because they were on the crossovers between the sets. I bumped into him. I said, "What's going on with this album then, man?" And he was like, "Well," he said, "Chris has gone again." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, Chris has gone again." And I was like, "All right, okay, fair enough." That's like the end of that then for the moment. And then he goes, "You wouldn't fancy doing guitar on it, would you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." I was just that was it basically. I just said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And he said, "Okay, give a few weeks, a month maybe. I'll get in touch." And a few weeks later, I heard from him, and he says, "Are you definitely up for doing this?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "I want a guitarist," and he wanted a guitarist and a separate singer again. So when I auditioned for the guitars, that was all went fine, and then we started looking for a singer for about 6 months. And in the end, I said, in the end, in the back of my mind I was thinking, I've just got to do this, or we're not going to find the right one for it.
Yeah.
In the end, Stan said, "You can't sing, can you?" And I said, "Well, no, but don't really need to sing, do we?" But I've done some vocals.
I was going to ask you.
Huh?
So I was going to ask you about that, because in your other band you've just done, guitar. So I was going to ask what made you step up to the mic this time.
When I was 17, in like my first band, I did vocals in that for a while. They weren't very good or anything, but I knew I could actually do it. So it was a case of having to do it, or otherwise we would have been going to rehearsal and doing nothing. Mm-hmm. So because we tried out some guys, probably about 3 different guys when I was with them. Stan had been trying people before that, as far as I know, but we tried like 3 people. For one reason or another, it just wasn't sounding like XENTRIX or very XENTRIX.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I learnt 3 songs. Had to unlock that playing guitar and singing thing again, which it's all right when you unlock it. It's just a pain in the ass trying to make yourself separate your mind again.
Yeah.
But as soon as that was done, it's done. So then it was just a case of making sure it sounded okay. So yeah, there you go.
When you started sort of doing the vocals, was there a moment in the band where everyone sort of went, "Yeah, this is right"? Because your vocals do sound so suited to XENTRIX.
Oh, definitely.
Stan said, well, I went up to Stan's place. He runs an audio visual company, an AV company. So I went up there and we did some demos, just the vocals. So I did Questions, Balance of Power, and something else, I think. It might have just been the 2 I went up there and did. And just tried them a few times just to see what the voice sounded like on it. This is even before I'd gone to rehearsals with it. And Stan was like, "Yeah, I think this will work." So yeah, that was that. Then it was just a case of learning it all.
How far had the album gone with Chris Astley? Had he put vocals down for it?
Yeah, it was done. It was done. Yeah.
Right. Because the album does sound like it was it was made with his vocals in mind. But then you have come along and you've been able to fit right in, as far as I can tell. You know, with that classic XENTRIX sound.
A lot of the songs, there was parts in it that ended up being changed lyrically or vocal patterns. Few of them are exactly as they were, but it was cool because, like, as we were going through each way, it took bloody ages to record it all, because I hadn't actually recorded vocals ever properly. So going and doing it, I was back in, back out, going to work. I was listening to it all at work, drive trucks, so I was like listening to it all day. And then it's like, this bit doesn't sound good enough, that doesn't sound good enough, I want to change this, I want to do that. And we were just back and forward, probably for about 3 months doing vocals. Like I was just travelling up, doing like a Sunday or whatever up there, and trying to get it right. Well, we got it right, I think. We got it as good as we could. So
yeah, sounds awesome.
Yeah, we're happy with it. The next one will be better.
So when do we expect that then?
We've pretty much got, I think we've got between 10 and 12 demos done that are actual demos of new songs. Most of them have got lyrics and lyric patterns. I've demoed some, me and Stan's demoed some of the vocals on top of the demos of them, and they're sounding cool. They're good songs. So it's just a case of when we can get in somewhere, hopefully with Sneap again, to get the drums down and get moving on it. But I mean, the bulk of it is done again on the writing. Well, we've had loads of time, haven't we, over the last 6 months?
Yeah, I was going to say, how's that?
Go on, sorry.
When you go back.
Say that again.
How's that worked with you as a band, with obviously the whole COVID thing going on? Is it? I suppose with modern technology, you can almost work from home, can't you? Doing the thing. How's that worked?
Yeah. Well, it just means we haven't seen each other as often. That's all. I mean, I live. It's a good 3-hour drive for me to go up there, or then obviously to come back down here. So we don't like see each other every week. Stan, Den, and Chris normally get together once a week and run through songs and stuff up at Stan's place, and then I'll go in and we'll do a rehearsal before we play. That's how the situation works. So really, nothing much has changed, other than we're not gigging, and there's no need for me to be up there to just, I don't know. There'd be need for me to go up there and drink with them, which we did speak about this week. We're going to try and sort something out, because it's been a while.
If you're not gigging, you don't need to rehearse as heavily.
No, of course, no. That's it.
So where do you sort of sit music to your own tastes? Because you were saying you weren't really that au fait with XENTRIX like back in the day in the 80s, were you?
Say that again, sorry.
Where are your own musical tastes? What do you like outside of XENTRIX?
Well, yeah, I got into Maiden 86, somewhere in time. I was 86, so I would have been 24, 12. So that was, and I was just Iron Maiden, totally Iron Maiden. Before that was Dire Straits, Queen, the Purple Rain album, Prince. That was cool. But then as soon as I got into Maiden, I was just complete Maidenite, everything Maiden. And then I checked out Metallica, but didn't quite understand it until I was about 14. And then as soon as I got that thrash thing in my head, that was it. I was just like, I still like Maiden, but it was my transition to stuff. And like XENTRIX, when I first heard the XENTRIX No Compromise on the 7-inch Metal Hammer thing, the vinyl that they tossed out with, who was on it? XENTRIX Almighty, Little Angels, and someone else.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, it was that I got that on Metal Hammer, and like No Compromise was. So I've actually been into XENTRIX since the very first sort of. Like all I missed of that really was the demos they did on the Tommy Vance show. So it was like XENTRIX, Slammer, Reanimator. Those were my British bands. Sabbath a little bit. I didn't really get on with with the lyrics on it too well. But Sabbath, and then the Americans. Megadeth was my biggest band at that time. Peace Sells. Mustaine was my hero at that point. And until I saw Pantera supporting Megadeth on, I can't remember if it's Countdown or Rest in Peace tour now. It's Countdown, wasn't it? Was it Rest in Peace? I don't remember.
It was Countdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those. But that was the Plymouth Pavilion, and I'd never even heard of Pantera before that gig, and they opened up and wiped the floor with them, and then it was just like Pantera onward. And then Pantera, Machine Head, Sepultura, all those sort of early 90s bands that were like Fear Factory at the time, that were making waves with decent albums then.
Nice.
So yeah, that's my sort of stuff. Carcass, not the early Carcass, I didn't really get on with that, but I appreciate it more now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a great taste in music, as far as I'm concerned. It's you sound very similar to sort of me and Mike. Me and Mike have had quite a similar sort of musical upbringing, and what you were saying then is pretty much exactly the same as us.
Right.
That same kind of time.
Yeah.
And it just goes from that one extreme to another, doesn't it? And it's
yeah. But then it doesn't go. Then it's sort of, I don't know how far it can go. How far does it go?
Yeah.
Because some things I hear now is just it's far too like far out there for me.
Yeah.
So
old school is the best school.
I think so. Yeah. Actually, today, well, when I was asked, because it was either the Friday or the Saturday, I said, like you'd said, like, do you want to do the Friday night or the Saturday? So it's the 9th or the 10th of October. And the 10th of October, I think it was 89, or it might have been 88. The 10th of October, I saw Metallica at Hammersmith Odeon with Danzig opening. So, so I thought, I would do the 10th then as a sort of metal date for me. Sticks in my head, that one.
I saw them in Cardiff. I think it was Cardiff and Newport. I grew up in South Wales.
On that Justice tour. Yeah, it was amazing, wasn't it? Yeah, but at the time, go on. No, you go on. At the time, I wasn't into Danzig at all. I didn't really like it, so I watched it and I didn't like it. I thought that it was like, what's he doing there with that? And I wish there's a few support bands I saw back then that I wish I'd actually been mentally older to have appreciated them more.
I was
and yeah, there you go then. Yeah.
I think Metallica, did they not have Warrior Soul supporting them as well? They would always.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, bands that weren't in with the same genre.
Yeah, safer, isn't it?
I remember hearing about Danzig supporting them, and I thought that's a real one.
They always stay away from taking Testament out because obviously they don't want showing up.
But yeah. That's what I think. Yeah.
That's definitely.
So how did you get into being a musician then? So obviously you've grown up with a love of music like a lot of us have, but you know, there's a couple of us here that are into music enough and musicians in their own right. But you know, how did you, what was your inspiration for like picking up the guitar?
It's Peace Sells. Because I'd listen to all of Iron Maiden without actually doing anything. I used to play a bit of keyboard when I was like 8 or something like that, 8 or 9, but not a massive amount. As soon as I heard Megadeth, it was Megadeth that made me want to play it. The Peace Sells album. As soon as I heard it, it was like, holy shit! Like I have to be able to do that. I need to do that. So that's when I picked up a guitar. And that was Metal Hammer as well. See, Metal Hammer was good. See. It used to serve the purpose and do what it should have done. Because do you remember the adverts for the Axe guitars? It was like A4 page. Well, I got one of those, like 69 quid Axe guitar with a curly lead and an amp that's like this high. And me and two mates did it.
The Axe
got them.
I on them as well.
Yeah. That learnt, yeah. But yeah, so two. Me and a mate got one of those each. Another mate got a bass. We used to go and like teach each other and learn and try and do stuff down in a friend's garage. Basically, his garage was next to the house, so we had electric in it. So we used to go and plug in, and then one of us would manage to make a breakthrough and learn like the Trooper or something. So then it was like, do this, play this. So, and then we learnt to do that, and then we started our first band. Yeah.
Happy days.
You're still in. Are you still in the band Bull Riff Stampede?
Yeah. That's me and Dave's baby. Yeah, that'll never go away. That's cool. We really love that.
I was looking on eBay to pick up the CD earlier today, but
say that again. Sorry.
I was looking on eBay to try and pick something up today, but it's impossible.
There's nothing on eBay because I buy it all and resell it. No, there's it should be on iTunes and stuff like that. It's on all of those platforms as far as I'm aware. I think it is. It should be. We pay Reverb Nation to make sure it's on it. So.
What about physical format wise? I mean, us who do this channel now, we're all kind of collectors of the physical format, you know.
There's both the CDs. We've got Bandcamp. Both the CDs are on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and there are CD. I've got them. They're here. I've got a box of them right next to me actually. Always ready to put in the post then.
Yeah.
Go, mate. I've got it.
I had a listen, obviously, once we knew you were coming on as a guest, and Mike had sort of mentioned about the other band. I'd listened to it. It's just quality, really good. And I was the same as Mike. I was having a look everywhere for it, just couldn't really find it because, again, like I say, being a collector, your first go-to is to look for the physical format. You know, like, where can I buy the CD?
It's direct from the website. That we've got no other place. We've got it on what was that website I just said? Slips my mind. Yeah, Bandcamp. Yeah, it's on there, but it's also direct from our web shop. We've got like a web link thing, a web shop linked up to the website bullriffstampede.com, and you can get them straight direct from that.
Excellent. I'd recommend anyone who's watching this live stream now, you need to check out Bull Riff Stampede.
Cool.
I gather people watching this because they're interested in XENTRIX. So
yeah.
And Dave, how does it work then if Bull Riff Stampede's your main band, but you're obviously classed as a member of XENTRIX as well?
I'm like serious about both bands. It's both bands are like of equal importance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point in doing one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's that. So you give them your equal attention.
Yeah, definitely. At the moment, I mean, we've been writing demos for XENTRIX and doing that, and me and Dave have also been doing the Bullriff stuff as well. But and neither suffer for the other.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I was going to say because obviously Dave's kind of doing the Onslaught thing as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I suppose XENTRIX and Onslaught being, more known. I wasn't sure. Does that take up a lot of both of your time away from your original band?
No, not really. No. Yeah, me and Dave basically write sporadically. The way that works is we'll come up with demos individually. And Dave will come up with a song, and I'll come up with a song. We'll demo it at home with demo drums. So, what do you think of this one? It's like, change that, do this, do that. This needs that doing. So we work remotely anyway on that. So nothing's really any different there at all. And with Bullriff, we only ever rehearse if we've got a gig. Like when we did the second album, it wasn't actually until we were gigging that we even bothered going to rehearse it, because otherwise we would just do a weekend rehearsal the weekend before and then go and do the gigs, because everyone has to rehearse and make sure they're all ready for the rehearsal. If they're not fit for the rehearsal, then they're not fit for the gig anyway. So yeah.
So what was it like going back once you joined XENTRIX, and you obviously knew you were going out on the road with XENTRIX and all this? How is it when you've got to like learn a full back catalogue? Or do you just pick the songs that are going to be used on that?
No, I've not learnt every single song off of every album. No, it is learned an hour and a half of it. The longest set we've done, I think, is an hour and a half. So I just literally learn what I need to know. Otherwise, it's just in and out of your head and gone, or mine is anyway. Yeah. So yeah, and each time we've got another gig coming up, or we go and do a set of gigs or whatever that set is, we'll sort that set out the week before or a couple of weeks before, and then I'll spend that period of time, like 2 hours a night, solidly running over it until it's in my head again. So yeah.
Of that back catalogue, so the songs before you joined, what's your favourite one to play? And maybe what's the most challenging one to play?
Questions was always my favourite. I want to do the Order of Chaos. I love that. Yeah. The Questions is my favourite one to play. Definitely. It kicks ass. It does.
Is there any plans, you know, Jay, for the band to re-release all that back, because they're really difficult to get hold of?
Yeah.
I just got Shattered Existence last year on CDs from somewhere. It's like 30 odd quid.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. As far as I'm aware, all of that material is owned. There's some real interference coming through here. Sounds like a robot.
That's me opening a can. I do apologise for
No. It's the Guinness speaking to you. It's all owned by Roadrunner, or it was, which was Warner or something. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but whoever owned the release for that still owns it, and Stan has managed to get in touch with them and get it onto digital platforms over the last year. So it's available on iTunes and all the other digital download ones. But he managed to contact people and get that to happen. So and it's their sort of place to re-release that, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's stuck. Yeah.
I think Road Racer are quite funny about. I know Death, the band Death, had a vinyl reissue recently.
Right.
The only one that Relapse couldn't put out was the one that Road Racer owned.
Yeah, there you go.
So I can imagine Stan might have a bit of a battle on his hands there, because they don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame as well, because the first two XENTRIX albums, especially, are gems of UK thrash, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, man.
And you know,
I've got a bit of experience.
Yeah. Now I understand.
I think.
All right, well.
I suppose the problem that happens when you can't get these reissues is the Russians like to start bootlegging them.
They do it anyway, don't they? Yeah.
They do,
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to see. I mean, what XENTRIX is dealing with listenable. Is that who'd be putting out the next record as well? Yeah,
there's a 2-album. They've definitely got first refusal on the next one. I can't remember what the details was on after that, but they've got definite first refusal on the next one. and once we've done that one, we'll then see what happens then, I guess.
Yeah. And I think with the way Bury the Pain's gone down, I don't think people could be arguing anything, because it's, I mean, watching people's videos on YouTube, friends of ours, and a lot of people put it in their top five releases of last year.
Cool. Good.
It's very highly thought of. Tell me about the cover art as well. It's a brilliant cover.
Yeah, the guy that did that is a Scottish guy called, I think it's Dan Goldsworthy. It'll probably be written on the back of there. He's really good. I've never met him. Stan's contact. Stan knows him. He's done the artwork for the April dates flyer that's gone out as well. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, really good. Oh, there we go.
Ugly shit.
Get special treatment on this channel, Jay. I swear.
Yeah.
So,
he's a good artist. Yep.
You maybe people who are watching this don't realise that you've done a stint with Blaze Bayley, did you?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, which one I know.
How did that come about? And
okay, that was Blaze had put a band together with the two Colombian brothers, the Bermudez brothers. Well, actually, Blaze and his wife at the time, Debbie. They put together his new push, basically. There are two Colombian guys, Dave and Nico, and Nico got held up on visa problems getting over here, the guitarist. So they needed a guitarist, and he happened to be doing some recording work with James Dunkley, who used to work for PV, who I know, and James had mentioned me to him as a cover, basically, for until Nico could get his visa cleared and get over here. So I did it, and then when Nico got over here, the other guitarist had a bit of a fallout over something or other, so he'd left after one of the rehearsals they were having, and then I got a call saying, do you want to carry on and do it? And I was like, possibly. I'll do it definitely live. I'll go and do some gigs around Europe and the world. Thank you. But I was doing a band called Anger Management at the time, and we were just setting that up, and that was with a cool guy called Jammer, who was setting this up, and I really wanted to get that moving with him. So I was doing the live stuff with Blaze and getting that thing running with Jammer, and but then it turned into, Blaze just said to me, like, we're going to be doing this album is, we shook hands on a 5-album promotion basically, and he said we'll do 5 albums and then see what happens, but I need you like 100% on this. So I spoke with Jammer about it, and Jammer says, go and fucking do it, man, go and have some fun. So that's what we did.
Seeing a bit of the world there then.
Yeah, we did loads of it. Yeah, we did all of Europe, did Russia a few times, South America, we did Argentina, Chile, Peru, Brazil a few times. It was cool, really fucking cool. Yeah, it was good.
You did 2 albums.
Go on, sorry.
We were like that was full-time musicians then. It was like there was no going to work or anything. It was like that's what we were doing. So that's what we did. It wasn't like mega bucks or anything, but we were turning stuff over and making it work for a good 2 or 3 years. Yeah, it was alright.
So you did a couple of albums with Blaze Bayley then, yeah?
Yeah, we did Man That Would Not Die and Promising Terror, and we did a live one and a live DVD as well. That was The Night That Would Not Die. The original. Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I've got no regrets about that at all. It was really good.
No, it sounds like a great experience, that, Jay, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, every musician's kind of dream, isn't it, to play in a band and go and travel the world.
Yeah, exactly. You get on a tour bus, a proper tour bus. It was just like, wow, here we go. go and do that. Party every night.
But was this after Blaze's stint in Iron Maiden?
Yeah, this was after he'd left Maiden. He'd done 3 or 4 with Steve Ray and John and the drummer that's now in Paradise Lost, I believe. I can't remember his name now.
Oh, is that Adrian?
No.
Was it?
No. I know, I don't remember, but those 3 albums are stunners. They really are.
Right.
Sneap did the production on them, and all 3 of those albums are like fucking beauts. They are. They're really good. The ones we did, I like, but yeah, directly after Maiden, those are the 3 he did with them. Yeah. And I actually saw him playing at Wacken with that lineup, and nobody had even realised he had a band of us lot that were over there. And it was just like Blaze Bayley comes out with them, and it was like, holy shit, they're really good. They're really good, and the songs are like really memorable and stuff. And it's like, fucking hell, he's back. And yeah, another band I was in before that, we did a support round England with them, 4-Way Kill. And that's the other contact. That's why another reason James has said to Blaze ring him, and then Blaze was like, oh, I know him because he like done these gigs with us before, blah blah blah. So yeah, it was. I've told him Blaze Bayley. I always loved the first Wolfsbane album. You know, I always sort of felt he was in one of those situations. You know, you're joining Iron Maiden, following Bruce Dickinson. You know, how do you do that? That's a pretty impossible job, isn't it? Yeah, but you don't say no. You don't say no. That's the thing. You can't say no, can you? No.
He did a fantastic job in Iron Maiden, and I ignored it for a long time. I ignored that era, thinking, you know, no one could replace Bruce. And then I just decided, you know, to give them a go, and I couldn't believe it. You know, they really overlooked those albums, especially Virtual 11. That is superb. That.
Yeah, it gets overlooked as well though, because it wasn't your classic Maiden. It was very dark. Those 2 albums were really off track from like classic Maiden. So that's probably why. And obviously Bruce Dickinson was totally loved, and to bring anybody new in, it wouldn't matter who it was, we're going to get pelters for it. So
yeah, at the time I thought Kiske was going to get that. From Halloween, Michael Kiske. Yeah. I thought he was going to be straight in on that at that time, but he was apparently they wanted to keep it on this island.
I love Kiske vocalist, but him and Maiden I think would be almost too melodic, too high up.
Maybe, yeah.
Tone. I couldn't see it. Blaze I could kind of see in the way. I kind of get that, although I don't think the song necessarily always suited him.
When he first came in, the image went straight back to Bruce sort of a Number of the Beast sort of time. It was like boom. It was sort of visually, it was back to that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. It was good fun. Yeah.
So we've got some questions here from people that are watching. Shall I throw a few of those up, and then we can get back into
yeah, do it.
Our about thereafter. So hold on, let me just see. I've lost a few of them now. Right, where were we?
Come on, Andy. We're more professional than this.
Wait. What are them? This. Where's it going? Yeah, here we go. Let's start with an easy one.
It depends which one I'm listening to, because I do like all of them. I do. I really like Kin, but it's not my favourite. But when it's on, it's just like it's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got a different vibe to it. So yeah. All Bleed Red is a wicked song. So Gareth Davis has got to be from Wales. Here's a question of Jay. How would you say the English thrash scene stands up like the American German scene? Less money pumped into it, so it didn't happen it never happened, did it? We just got tossed. The English thrash band just got tossed the support acts for the Americans and the Europeans at the time, and that's what it was.
Like labels needed a token UK band.
Yeah.
That they were going to invest in, but they wanted the show willing.
Yeah. Yeah, the British thrash bands were always just the support to the American touring band, weren't they? That's the trouble.
Yeah.
Where do you sleep when you're on tour? At the moment, we're not actually doing any tours at the moment. When we were on tour, it's usually a hotel or if there's a load of dates in a row, you get a bus.
Is that something that the like record label organise for you? Or is that more of a thing that the band have to sort out?
With Bayley, when we were out, it was the promoter.
Oh, okay.
Because all the albums were done self-release, so it was basically an agreement that him and Debbie would sort out with the promoters. If not, we were in a van with overnight stays in hotels or travel lodges or whatever, the travel lodge of that country, whichever one we were in. But most of them were like decent hotels when we'd go away. We went away twice on proper buses and that. I prefer that because you can just like drink and watch films all night and go to bed at 7 in the morning and then sleep until midday when you might get a kick to go and set your gear up.
Yeah, that's the life.
Yeah.
So here's another one for you. Biggest challenge of joining a band that's been at it for over 30 years?
Learning the stuff properly. That's it, just learning it all. Learning the words and not fucking up the verses or the choruses or getting them the wrong way round and stuff like that.
Yeah, I suppose that's it. Learning someone else's material.
Yeah.
And knowing as well how sort of popular the first 2 albums were. That people are going to be ready there to sing along with them choruses, aren't they? And
yeah.
So it's a lot of pressure, Jay, to be honest, isn't it?
It was. I'd never actually felt pressure at all. Every time I'd ever played anywhere with any band I've been in, it's just like, I want to do this is what I want to do, so we'd just go and do it, have a quick shot or whatever, go and do the gig, get on with it and have fun. The first XENTRIX one was at Bloodstock that I did with them, and that one I spent the whole of the day before in my tent just going over and over and over that set for the hour, 55 minutes or whatever it was, just going over and over and over and over it. And that was the only gig. No, it wasn't the only. There's been 4 gigs where I felt pressure. That was it. That first XENTRIX one. The second XENTRIX gig was a club show, club support in Manchester with Acid Rain. And so that was a club gig, so then you've got like, it's a pub basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there was like the pressure of that. Then the next gig after that was a headline club gig, which was there again, so there was that same sort of thing. And then the next one after that was the first European festival. We went over to, I think it was Poland, the first one. And there was that pressure there. It was like the first of this. The first XENTRIX gig, the first club gig, the first headline club gig, the first festival Europe gig. And then after that, it's like, okay, we're back to normal now. Let's go and have fun and do the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's cool.
Well, I suppose everything you do, it just gets that bit easier, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And you just try and, you kind of like settle into it.
Yeah. The thing I have been wondering about now, because none of us have done any gigs. I don't even know when the last gig was. I think it was Portugal, which would have been February, March, April, May, June, July. So that's 9 months. So it's 9 months since I played now, and it'd probably be another, if April does go ahead, which I hope it does, but who knows. So it's going to be like over 12 months since we'd have played, and that's going to be like a first gig again. It's like it's the longest. That'll be the longest. But at the moment, I think it's the longest period of time I've ever been without playing a gig since I was like 15 or something.
It's got to be the same for every musician. That it must
be,
it must be, especially when you are a gigging band. It's
even if you're playing once a month, you're never out of step.
Yeah.
So, but
I think when bands do get back out there and start playing, and crowds can form, and there's either a vaccine or whatever, I think people will be so delighted to go back to normal. Gigs are going to be killer. The atmosphere is going to be fantastic.
I hope so. Yeah. Perhaps it's what it needed. Yeah.
I might
it might be.
Yeah. Maybe it's what it needed. Maybe people won't be stood there recording it. They'll be watching it and enjoying it instead.
Yeah. Probably watching it on YouTube for the last year. So to see it live will be a completely different experience.
Yeah. What's your dream tour? Pantera. That would be it. Yeah, Pantera. There you go. That's a dream. Who's your all-time favourite band? There's a few, but Pantera.
Is this one Pantera as well?
Yeah. This is the new Pantera tribute now. Does DJ have his eyes on any one new band? No. No, I don't.
Do you?
I do listen to stuff. I listen to lots of things, but there's nothing at the moment that's fresh in my head that I would say, yeah, go and listen to this. There isn't. Like in my car at the moment, I'm listening to Overkill at the moment.
Is that your sort of go-to genre for music you're into? Is thrash?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Do you sort of go on to venture into death metal or black metal or anything like that?
Yeah, Death and Obituary. I listen to a lot of that. Death, Obituary. I like Cannibal Corpse. I find that addictive. It's just so fucking Yeah, I like Cannibal Corpse. I'm just trying to think what else at the moment. Dave, ask Dave that question when you get him on in a few weeks' time. He knows the ins and outs of a cat's ass on stuff like that, man. He does. Yeah, he does. Yeah. Favorite English thrash band other than XENTRIX? At that time, Slammer and Reanimator were the other two big ones for me. Definitely those two.
Yeah. Slammer. The work of Idle Hands by Slammer.
Yeah, that was the one. Nightmare Scenario was okay, man. I thought that was alright.
Yeah,
as well.
Insanity Addicts I thought was good.
Yeah, yeah.
I think at the time, because XENTRIX were on Road Racer and then Slammer came out on
Atlantic,
or it was one of the big labels.
Yeah. Was it Polygram? Something?
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah.
And it had a really nice, polished, finished sound.
Yeah.
I can remember hearing that. But I also loved Bastard Ballads by Toranaga.
I didn't hear that at the time. There was a band in Yeovil where I was growing up at that point called Berserker. And they were a fucking good band, man. And the drummer Shane, he was well into that album. His favourite band was Testament at that time, but he'd got hold of that and he was raving about that at the time. I remember that, but I was too wrapped up in listening to Megadeth and Metallica then to venture too much into what he had to show that day. Yeah, well, okay. What do you think about Philip Anselmo doing the Vulgar album? Oh man, good question. See, I heard it, and it's like to anyone that didn't see Pantera, like James, the drummer in Bullriff, him and Dave never saw Pantera. So when James sees that sort of stuff, he's like, yeah man, this is like fucking look at this, but it's no fucking way near as good. It just plainly isn't. the other thing is, I'm not sure that it's even in the. I don't know if it is or not, but there's something that sounds odd about it, whether it's in a different key or not. Because to me, it doesn't sound as fucking alive. It doesn't. Back then, man, Pantera were fucking on fire. They were, and like, yeah, you if you didn't see it, you'll never know. You can't just look at YouTube to some sort of fucking video that someone had done at the time.
I seen them at Download 94.
I was there.
Sepultura were on just before, and then Extreme were on just after them, and it was just a fucking big bottle fest.
The actual guitar sound that Dime had at that 94 Download wasn't as good as it should have been, I don't think. It wasn't as good as normal. It was still a cool gig, and it was the first time I'd seen them open air, I think. Well, it might have been 90. They were out on a Metallica one. Was that 92 or something? A big day out or something? Or was that 98? I can't remember. They were on a Metallica open air I saw as well. It might have been Milton Keynes. But the 94 one, the guitar sound wasn't quite as like it ought. But indoor, they're like fucking the best live band I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Still,
I've never seen them live, unfortunately. But I remember when first hearing Cowboys from Hell came out, and I think it was a real game changer. Pantera were do you know, it's only probably about 10 years ago that I realised that they were like a glam band before.
Yeah.
It's like, I've seen it and I thought I must be a different band.
No. They were really young as well, and they're not bad albums for that age.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's quite like. Because I have seen some like glam bands back in those days as well. Because we used to, a friend of mine, well, as soon as the older lads got cars, Bristol was an hour north for us, so we'd all like on a Friday or Saturday we'd pile in the cars and head up for the Bristol Beer Keller. That's pretty much what I live in Bristol now. It's pretty much from coming up to Bristol from there all the time, and we would head up, and I saw like Thunder, Little Angels, Almighty. I saw the Almighty supporting Little Angels before they were even signed. Wow. And then I saw them come back about 6 months later, then signed, doing a headline. They had No Sweat supporting, I think.
Wow.
Irish lads. A lot of the glam bands would come down and play Bristol Beer Keller, and some of the other lads were into that sort of thing, so I would end up in the car coming up with them, and yeah. So I didn't not like that either. It was all right.
No, I think your journey sounds so similar to so many people of our sort of generation.
Yeah.
It was the same. I was a complete Master of Puppets. Just loved it. But you know, I still went to gigs, and I saw Thunder, I saw Little Angels, Martial Law. I even saw the Electric Boys. Believe.
Oh right. Yeah.
But you know, it was all part of the scene then, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Bristol Beer Keller was the first time I ever saw a man putting on lipstick in the blokes' toilets. I was like, looked fucking twice. I was like, hey, it's like, you're in Bristol, you're in a big city now. This is what they do at glam gigs. So all right, fair one.
I've heard about that venue a few times. Yeah, it's a long way. I was born in Blackpool. So not far really from the XENTRIX boys. And,
Den actually lives quite close there, I think.
Yeah, Dennis is he
plays up at one of the places. Yeah,
he plays drums in another band, Rupert Fabulous.
That's it.
And the singer out of Rupert Fabulous, Russ, he's married to one of my friends, Debbie.
Oh right.
And I saw you guys at the Waterloo bar last year.
Oh, that's where I recognise you from. Yeah. Yeah.
I did sort of see you briefly. I spoke to Dennis a little bit, but that was a great gig. I think, well, I suppose I'll tell you the story while I'm on it now, but XENTRIX kind of have got an affinity with me. They were my first band that I ever saw live.
He always goes here. He always goes.
Come on.
This is a story that we've heard a million times.
Brilliant. Bring it on.
This is our.
I'm officially a fanboy. But no,
Go for it.
I think it's important. Bands play a big part in your life growing up loving music,
Yeah, man.
And I play guitar myself, so went to saw XENTRIX. I think they just released Shattered Existence.
Wow.
Thrash. I saw them again in Preston when they recorded Dilute to Taste.
That got played to death in my car when I learned to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the story I will share with you, Jay, and these guys, I suppose they might as well just go because they've heard it a million times. The sort of thing with Dilute to Taste is they put on the thanks list inside. They got everyone to sign a book on the way into the gig.
That's right.
And
I heard about this.
Yeah, everyone who attended that gig got their name on the thanks list.
Yep.
So as you can see, my name there, Mark G with a C. It's Mark with a C. It's always been a little thing in my head, but they spelt my name with a K. Mark Gibson. And how many years ago is that album?
And he's been fucking raging ever since.
He's been raging ever since. Well, apparently Stan is on with Roadrunner at the moment to get that re-released, and the main driving point for him for getting that re-released is to have the artwork redone with that spelt right.
Finally.
You'll finally be happy.
Yeah.
I can die a happy man at long last.
Yeah.
I love XENTRIX, but for fuck's sake, I should have spelled my name right.
I thought about changing my name to Mark with a K, just
so it fits.
Yeah. But yeah, they've always been a big band for me. In fact, I think I did my first stage dive at a XENTRIX gig as well.
Fair play, man. Yeah.
I saw them in Preston when I think it was a 25th anniversary of Shattered Existence, and Chris had rejoined the band for that.
Yeah, I was there. I was there that night. It was a Friday, and we took the day off work. Me and a few mates, and we all drove up, and we were there for that.
With Shrapnel supporting.
Shrapnel was supposed to be supporting, but they didn't. They got stuck on the motorway, didn't they? And didn't make the show. But yeah, I was up there. I was up there for that. I had no idea I'd be playing in the band about a year later or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, how mad.
They came to work in 1991, I think it was. I lived just before Scotland, basically, you know, on the west coast. And they came and played Workington.
Yeah.
In 91, I think it was, at a place called the Carnegie. And we don't really get good bands around here. So when they came, everybody went. And
cool.
And people who run the Carnegie were asking people to calm down, stop stage diving, stop.
in 91, when it was the highlight of it all, yeah.
So what they done was, to get back at the Carnegie, they went, fuck you lot, and they ripped the chairs out of the... It was
right, cool.
Theater. They ripped all the chairs out of this, like, kind of posh theatre thing. Just, the XENTRIX won't play that again.
Fair one. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't ever get to see them back then. That was the problem. I nearly supported them once at the Bridgewater Arts Centre, because I've been in contact with Dennis, basically trying to get him to listen to the band I was in, my first band sort of thing. And I used to speak to him on the telephone every few months and say, "Oh, we've done this new song. Can I send you it?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, send it up." He was like fucking sound, man. He was. And also Enzo from Slammer at the same time as well. I speak to him every few months because there's no fucking, there's no internet or fuck all. If you wanted to get your band anyway, you needed to find someone and fucking speak to them about it. So anyway, yeah, I'd like to speak to Dennis and stuff. Anyway, the concert, I passed Dennis's contact onto a guy that was setting up a gig at the Bridgewater Arts Centre. There used to be thrash gigs down there every 6 months that we'd put one on, and the condition was I'd like hand over the contact if we were on the support. The contact got handed over, and we didn't get the support for it. So I was like, right, I ain't going to the fucking gig then. Bollocks to it. So I didn't go, and I should have gone really. But yeah, so I never actually got to see them until I missed the creator support. I missed the Overkill support just because I had to be at work at that point.
Oh wow!
So, but yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. It was Evil and XENTRIX and Creator, wasn't it? I caught the Manchester one, 2003. And I got to talk to Chris Astley that night. And he come up to me and he said, don't tell anyone. Because I asked him what he'd been doing. And he went, dead sheepish. I'm an electrician. But he didn't want anyone to know.
Right. Why not? I don't know. Everyone's doing. Most bands have got other jobs, haven't they? Fucking hell. Unless you're Paul Stanley.
Yeah, you don't get into a metal band to make money, do you?
No. Well, I don't know. When you're 14, you do.
Well,
but then you soon realise it's not like that. Yeah.
Well, that's funny you say that, because I can remember seeing XENTRIX signed to Road Racer Records, and some of the bands that were on Road Racer back in the day. When you're that age, you're thinking, oh my God, these guys are from round here and they must be driving around in fancy cars and getting helicopters here and helicopters there. That's the way you see bands when you're a kid, isn't it? Well,
you think they're at least earning enough to live from their music. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, some are, most aren't, unfortunately. That's the reality of it.
And it's tough going at the moment, isn't it? Because a lot of bands rely on merch and gigs and that to make the money. Selling T-shirts at gigs. It's a big part of the revenue for the band, isn't it?
Yeah. It's difficult. It's difficult to actually make a band financially viable, like year in, year out. It is. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's still possible, but you've got to be away from home 3 months at a time. You have to be away from home 3 months at a time to get those live shows in. You need to have the right deal in place to get the right money back on your songs as well. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
So we'll do it because we love it.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I wanted to ask you as well, after when I saw you at the Waterloo, Dennis had said you were going over to Japan. You were doing a few dates over in Japan after that.
Yeah.
How did they?
It was one date.
Oh, was it just one?
Yeah, we went. Hopefully, we're going to go back. I hope, but it was one date. It was a Saturday night, and we left. Yeah, it was a fucking blur. It was a really good trip, but it was like 3 or 4 days. Like I think we flew Friday, played Saturday, flew back Sunday night or something like that. I really can't remember at this moment, but it was a real race. But Naru, a guy that Stan knows, who lives in, I think he lives in Osaka. He came up and met us basically as we were there. He came and met us at the hotel and took us straight out. We dumped our stuff, got showered up, got out. He took us down to the venue. We checked in and said, right, we're here. We went and got took the merch down to the venue. We went. He took us to this like proper backstreet Japan stuff. He knows about, because he's obviously knows the area, and he's Japanese himself, obviously. So we went to proper Japanese restaurant where the tables are like this far off the floor. Literally, we walked up the stuff. He says, take his shoes off. He disappeared off the high street and went up this like flight of stairs, and there was like a beaded curtain at the bottom of the street. And he says, one minute, and he goes up there, and anyway he comes back again, and he says, right, come on in. Shoes. We get to the top of the stairs. He says, round here. We went round the corner, and we like looked, and the fucking tables were like literally about 3 inches or 4 inches off the floor, the legs of it. So it's like, oh shit! Like, so we're all like, me and Stan are not like, I don't know what we were expecting, but anyway, we're sort of like lounged about. We're all lounged about on the floor around. We're seeing everyone else in there is sat cross-legged because they're all like very fit and
like that.
Yeah, they can do the stuff, and we're sort of all lounged about trying to look comfortable when we're not. But we had like proper Japanese beers and stuff, and proper Japanese foods that he was suggesting we get and ordering in for us. And so we had a proper Japanese experience while we were there, even though we were there for only like a couple days.
Right.
And it was really cool. Yeah.
That sounds. What were the crowd like? Was it? Did you get a lot? I always sort of envisaged. I mean, the Japanese, they love the metal, don't they?
Yeah. It was. The venue itself was sort of like the rescue rooms in Nottingham, that sort of size.
Oh, okay.
It was like that. It was two days that the gig was on. I forget who was headlining the night before. Fuck, I should remember. Can't. Drinking. Yeah, so it was like a two day indoor festival. We did the headline on the Saturday, so we ran Friday, Saturday. We went and had some drinks down there on the Friday night. Yeah, they were. It was cool. It was good.
Yeah, good crowd.
Hmm.
Were you doing a festival as well around that same time?
In Japan?
Not in Japan. No. I'm sure. I might be getting this wrong, but I'm sure Dennis said you had a gig or two in Japan. Then you were maybe coming back to Belgium or Portugal to play a show there.
We did Portugal. My mind on times is like really not helping me at the moment. I can't, because nothing has happened for so long, and my whole time scale on what happened is completely gone out of the window. It's like nothing has happened since March for me, pretty much, and February for gigs wise, and then everything before it just seems to be like this happened before all this blew up, you know.
Yeah.
And I can't really remember what times were before. We went to Portugal. That was a good festival. I think that was February though. Japan was November.
Ah, okay.
So yeah.
So do you think you'll carry on? Will you wait and try and pick up the sort of touring cycle for the Bury the Pain album, or will you kind of say, well, you know what, we've got this new batch of songs ready to work with, and let's it's over until that album?
I think the mindset for me, and I think Stan is of the mindset. It's like, right, well, that's like going to be the last phase now. The next album is what we're looking at. Mm-hmm. As far as in my mind is, and I'm pretty sure that's what Stan's thinking as well.
Yeah.
For Stan to have said, like, let's come up and demo some vocals.
Yeah, and it's a long gap between Bury the Pain coming out and maybe the beginning of next year before any gigs can be started again. It is a long
exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah, we might as well just press ahead, get the next album out and done, and then move forward with that.
So what happens with the new album then? Will it, if you're demoing tracks, is it a record company thing? They pay for studio time?
I guess so. I'm not exactly sure.
I'm never quite sure how it works these days. You know what I mean?
I think it works differently depending on what deal you've got with them, whether it be verbally or on paper or whatever. Yeah. This one, I know there's a figure set ahead for a second album, providing the first made this much back and stuff like that, as it used to be. But I'm not entirely sure. But I don't
suppose you're at that stage yet, though, are you?
No, it's basically we've got the songs together. There's a few more songs I need to do lyrics and vocal patterns for. Then we'll be tweaking bits here, bits there that can be better or need changing or cutting or whatever. And then once we've got that nailed, we'll then go, hey Mr. Record Company, we've got another one ready. What do you want to do with it?
Have you got any album names kicking about yet?
No.
No,
we've got most of the songs have got titles. I just got to go to the fridge and grab another one a minute. Give me 1 minute.
Yeah.
No, go for it. You need to have them stacked up next to your. You need to have them stacked up next to your computer. You see.
They need to be cold though.
This is why we're. Beers are all right.
The fridge is actually right next to me as well, which is handy.
That was quick.
Yeah, I think most, if not all, of the songs that we've got demos done for have got titles that we're happy with. So I don't know whether one of those will end up in the album title or not. I don't know. But I mean, most of this it's Stan's baby for that sort of thing. Stan and Den's baby. At the end of the day, they're the boys that started this up, and they're the boys that it's their legacy. That I'm there because I didn't want to see XENTRIX not happen anymore. That's basically where I sit in this.
Do you get involved in the songwriting?
Yeah, I've submitted 2 songs up to Stan. He likes them. I've got lyrics for 1. Lyrically, on the last album, most of the stuff I'd suggested changing this or putting this in here, or changing the words, or scrapping it completely and starting vocally again on it. He went for most of it. He just said, yeah, he likes it. So he's allowed me to have input on all of it so far, which is important to me because I don't want to just be going in and being like, do this, do that, do that. Yeah, no, that's not for me at all, that sort of scenario. And I enjoy working with Stan, I really do, and Den. It's cool. I'm happy with it all, man. It's cool. Yeah,
it must help the likes of that you're invested and you're able to contribute.
So, say that again. Sorry, Andy.
It must help them as well that you're completely invested in the band and you're able to kind of contribute to the the songwriting process as well.
Yeah.
Rather than just being.
Well, as I understand it, Stan was pretty much single-handedly doing that last album for guitars, lyrics, and vocals, and had presented it, and then Chris had come in and done it. So I think, Stan's happy to have 2 minds on it, on that side of things, and then Den does his magic with the drums. So yeah,
it is magic as well. He's a great drummer.
Fucking ace. He doesn't understand how significant he is, Den. He doesn't. He's like, no. He's always like this about it. It's like, no, man. Like, people really like your drumming, man.
Yeah.
And
you've got to be a good drummer to play thrash metal. Simple as that, It's
yeah.
Death metal sometimes is
Or play it well.
Yeah, exactly. It's about the double, but it's thrash metal. It's there's those rolls in there and the off timings and that. He's fabulous, but he's obviously a modest man, isn't he?
He's too modest for his own good. That is. Yeah.
A little like a little windmill.
Yeah, brilliant drummer. He definitely stood out back in the day, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
Like those, it's like fucking hell.
They were, great. All of them, and it's.
Ashley was the best UK frontman, with the hands down at that point.
Well, he had. I suppose he had the old. You couldn't sort of get away from the Metallica sort of references. Really, they were always kind of that. But he was.
He was, yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he was the best.
One of the most important sort of UK bands, thrash metal bands ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I am fanboy. I admit it. These boys might all laugh at me a little bit, but You know.
Well, I was. See, I was a massive XENTRIX fan all the way from the beginning. I understand you completely. I'm in your court with this.
Yeah, and now you're in them. How good is that?
It's weird. It's a bit weird, but it's cool. At least it's in good hands. That's all I can say. So, yeah. At least I know it's in the right hands at the moment. So.
Yeah, that's brilliant. What would you say the new material's like compared to Buried Pain?
It's similar. It's a little bit. I don't know. There's a different edge to it, to some of it, definitely. But at this stage, there's still just like the demos that will still develop.
Yeah, of course.
But it sounds like XENTRIX to me. That's the most important thing to me. Is it always sounds like to me what I would want XENTRIX to sound like.
Dead right.
So that's the most important thing.
The minute I heard Bury the Pain, it was like, as soon as it started, I just thought it was like they've hit the ground running. You know, it sounded just like XENTRIX. Even sort of the way you phrase things vocally, and you know, it sounded.
Yeah. Well, to my mind, if it doesn't sound like XENTRIX, it needs a different vocal pattern, or it needs a different vocal phrase. It has to sound like XENTRIX, otherwise it isn't. Yeah. To me,
actually, it's probably quite a positive having you as the vocalist, because you were a fan first, and you know you're not stuck inside the kind of XENTRIX box.
Yeah, exactly, man.
You've looked at XENTRIX from the outside, and
you
kind of know what a fan would want.
I mean, there's been like multiple times where I've said this, like me and Stan have been like recording and doing stuff, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like XENTRIX enough, and he says, we fucking decide what XENTRIX sounds like, not everyone else. And do you know what I mean? And he's right, and I'm right as well. So yeah. But it sounds like we fucking decide what XENTRIX sounds like. If I've said that doesn't sound XENTRIX enough.
Well, it does sound like XENTRIX.
Yeah.
It needs.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Yep.
Fabulous. So, what's happening with Bull Riff Stampede then, as well?
Bull Riff, we're pretty much at the same sort of stage as with XENTRIX with the new next album. Me and Dave have got around 10 songs at the same demo stages. Dave's actually built a studio down the bottom of his garden, which is fucking handy.
Really?
Yeah. He turned half of it into a gym, which is a little it's good for his fitness. But yeah, he's got a studio down the bottom of his garden, and that's like 2 hours south from me. So I'll head down there. We need to sort another date out soon. He's building an extension or something at the moment, so he's pretty much tied up with that. But we'll get back down there and lay down some of the vocals on the demos of that, which is cool. We were wondering whether to like split the vocals on this one, and like, because now he's doing vocals and Onslaught. Whether to do some songs with him singing, some songs with me on, and then put it out like that. And like a lot of people, like mates that we spoke to, have gone like, well, yeah, I don't know though. I don't know. It needs to sound like this, but then our like angle on it is.
Yeah, you decide what it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing is, like, the Beatles always had like fucking Who's Singing Now going on. Kiss was the same. Kiss is like, who's singing now? Is it Gene or is it Paul or is it this? And there's different voices. And then you've got all these bands that have got like two vocalists up there with two mics who's like trying to fucking over impress each other while they're up there. So
you wet.
René and Renato.
Yeah. Was it the new Death Angel?
Huh? Death Angel, I love Death Angel, man.
Yeah, we were just talking about the new single they released, Under Pressure. So it's Marco Zaguda and Rob Cavastani sharing the vocals on it, and it's weird. It's so
is it?
Right.
I've not heard this yet.
I think it only got released yesterday on YouTube.
Okay.
And what they've done is basically they've taken Under Pressure, obviously, Freddie Mercury, David Bowie, but they've done it exactly the same way.
All right.
The original, so it sounds fucking weird, like.
Right. Okay.
So, but you have to check it out.
Yeah, I will. I'll probably do that later on. Actually, we've got I've done a cover version. I've done a thrash speed death metal cover version for Bull Riff, which I've got fully demoed except for vocals, which I've got. Dave's going to be putting the vocals down on that, and it's Detroit Rock City, and it's really fucking heavy. Yeah. It's like on the drums, and it's really, I love it.
I can imagine when it's got that riff that way. That riff comes in down.
I've just James hasn't touched it yet, but I've done all the. I can't remember what the drum program is, but I've done it with Easy Drums, and it's like fucking going on like this with the drums at the beginning, like up paced and sounding cool, and all the harmonies are in there, and all the solo is complete. It's like, yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
So that was fun.
I just find it mad that a band like Death Angel do a song like Voracious Souls, and then 30 years later they do a cover version of Under Pressure.
Yeah. Mark likes,
especially in that style.
Mark likes a lot of different music. Yeah, I know Mark likes a lot of different music. I met him once. I used to do crewing for Onslaught, and I used to be Nige. I used to go away with Nige when they first started putting the band back together, 2005, 2006. Because Nige lives in Bath, but like Steve was in Bristol and stuff at that point, and Cy only lives, I don't know, 5 miles from here. So when they put that back together, I said to Nige, right, if you want a guitar tech to go like off and drink with and what have you, because Nige likes his drink, I said, like, I'll come and plug your guitar in for you. So he's like, yeah, all right. So we went and I did most of the European flyouts with Onslaught at that time, and I've completely forgotten what this was leading to. Oh, that's where I met Mark from Death Angel. It was actually, I think that was in Japan, because Onslaught did a Japan thing, and I went over. That was the first time I'd been to Japan, and I think Death Angel was on there, and I had a bit of a chat with him at the hotel afterwards, and I was quite surprised to find out like the various different music tastes he's got. So I just assumed everyone that's doing thrash likes thrash, only thrash. But
I think it was. I think when they did a cover of Cold Gin on Throw It Through the Park, that sort of tells you a bit about someone. But what I'm impressed with is I'm loving your interview techniques there. So you apply for the job and you say, I'll put your guitar in for you and drink some beers with you, and they say, yeah, come with us. Yeah.
Well, that's it. If you're not having fun, you shouldn't be there.
Absolutely. That's like the perfect way to get a job.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some fucking good times away. Some good times away with Onslaught. I haven't seen Cy for a while. Like a few of the like over Christmas. Normally, we didn't last year, but normally I see Cy over Christmas at New Year or something. We get together.
Bro.
That was it's a bit weird with Dave doing the Onslaught vocals now and Cy not doing it. So I don't know. Dave's like, what should I do? And I'm like, well, if Cy's not doing it, someone else will do it.
Yeah.
And if someone else is going to do it, it might as well be you. So he was like,
And you know, you and Dave being from the same band, and two bands like XENTRIX and Onslaught with such, I suppose, iconic original vocalists. Really.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Yeah. It is.
I've not heard all that new Onslaught album, but I know Mike.
It's fucking good, man. It's really good.
Awesome, brilliant,
awesome.
It is. It is a really good album. Yeah. James's drumming's like fucking machine gun. James is a really good drummer. His dad was a drummer. His dad used to run the pub that we drank in when we were growing up. And I met James when he was 5, and I was about 17. James is a lot younger than me and Rod, but yeah, James's dad used to drum in a band called Mother's Ruin, and what's the other one? A few of the pub bands, and they would like go around the whole of the south coast doing cover versions. And he ran the pub, the King's Arms. When our proper locals shut down the Pal, which was next door, he pretty much got the license on the pub 2 doors up and said, right, if they're not going to have us down there, we'll do it here. So Steve and Jude set up that place and was having bands on the stage indoors there on the Sundays and the Fridays sometimes. They actually run the place down in Weymouth now called Finn McCall's. It's the best. It's a really cool rock pub, metal pub.
Yeah.
Yeah, proper place.
How do you think these places are going to sort of cope after this COVID sort of thing? It worries me a bit. You know, some of these smaller venues.
The Alma went. I've only been to the Alma once, and I don't remember it. Like, it wasn't very packed when I played there. But my band wasn't very well known then, I suppose. But anyway, the Alma, Chris, who's in XENTRIX, he's like, that was, as far as I understand things, that's one of his like major places that he would go. That's his Pal Tavern of there, or King's Arms, or Finn McCall's of Weymouth. That's their like metal place, and that was closing down about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But yesterday I'd seen a thing go up. I messaged him straight away when I seen it. I said, here you go, Chris, it's back open, because apparently they've found a way to keep it open and do it again. But I think most of the actual metal places will either move. They always do, don't they? It's like you see it time and time again. They do. Your local, where you were drinking when you left school and what have you, or when you were at school even. When you have your keep a pint of Coke on the table with your pint in case the police come in. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I think some of the venues, the proper good old venues that are just like a room above a pub, they'll probably survive.
Yeah.
They've obviously got the pub. I always like the Star and Garter in Manchester.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of that, but that's
I've not, no.
It's one of those proper good old venues where once the band start, well, the second or third band come on, there's sweat dripping off the ceiling on you. It's
right.
You know, a real good venue. And I always sort of worry about places like that for live music.
Yeah. They come and go, don't they?
I know. Did you
That's
have
the trouble.
any,
The Marquee never came back, did it, see?
No, it didn't, no.
That would surprise me. When the Marquee went down the pan, I thought that's going to crop up again. Because the Intrepid Fox kept cropping up here, there and everywhere, didn't it? When that went down. But the Marquee, I would have thought, would have been the one that would have survived somewhere, but it never did.
Iconic venue as well.
Yeah. I saw Sepultura in there.
Wow.
That was fucking mental in '89.
Yeah. Yeah, the Obituary played there as well, didn't they? I think around the same time.
Everyone played there, man. At that time. Yeah.
Did you have any sort of big gigs that got cancelled due to everything that's going on?
Yeah. Well, no. Machine Head Burn My Eyes tour. I've missed that twice. I had tickets for the November the 2nd Burn My Eyes. This was with Contos and Logan Mader.
Oh right, Logan,
in London. I had the November 2nd day. I'm like, it's like, I've got to go to Japan. So I didn't see it then. So then I bought tickets for Bristol, and then the Bristol one got cancelled, and then was it Birmingham? It might have been Birmingham actually. Yeah, I bought tickets for Birmingham, not Bristol. And then that got cancelled because of the COVID thing, and then put forward to another date, and then that got cancelled again. So I've got tickets sat actually up in that shelf that will never get used, and I will never see that again. Although I did see them in '95 at Download. I saw the original lineup then in '95.
Yeah. I know a few of my friends, well, I was open to go, but I think it was Create and Power Trip meant to be playing in Manchester.
Okay.
And obviously now the singer out of Power Trip's passed away, hasn't he? So I don't think that one happened, but that's they're a good band, a good modern thrash band with the old school elements in there.
Yeah, I watched their Bloodstock set online the other day after the news of that happened, because I'd heard the name about it, I'd never listened to it or heard it before, but I watched that set and it was like, holy shit, yeah, they're good.
Talking of knowing you're a big Pantera fan as well, and I only just read this the other day after Eddie Van Halen passing away, but apparently Dimebag always loved Eddie Van Halen's, his iconic guitars. And he always loved the one that had the yellow and black stripes on it.
It's buried with him, that one.
Yeah, and he asked for a copy of it, and Eddie Van Halen said, "No, you can have my original one."
Yeah. Apparently, once they'd had a few drinks on Pantera when they were playing live and stuff. Apparently, when they were like feeling cocky or whatever, and they were like at that point of having drinks together and then going out and playing, Dime and Vinny would look at each other and one of them would go Van Halen and they'd go yeah, and that's when they would like jam through the Pantera set that night.
Yeah,
they would just say Van Halen apparently was the key phrase, and then they would just be like, just concentrate on your parts for the evening basically, because I'm going to be doing fucking anything else over here. So yeah,
that's like the safe word, Van Halen.
Apparently, yeah, that's what I've heard.
Wow.
Yeah man. Yeah. So there you go. Well, time is flying, isn't it?
Yeah. So we've been going for what? 90 minutes. And we think we said.
Yeah. I'm all good, man. I've got a bottle of Jack Daniels up there. Shall I break that out? No.
Oh God.
No, I'm all good.
We can do that for the after party.
Yeah.
The after party. Don't worry. Well, I think this has been absolutely fantastic, Jay. Thank you very much for just chatting with us today. It's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for asking me on. It's really cool.
Yeah, thanks a lot, mate.
You're welcome. And thanks to everybody that tuned in, asked questions. Sorry we didn't necessarily get to them all, but just the way it happens. So certainly from me, thanks, Jay. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks,
everybody.
Thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate it.
No problems. We'll see you at a gig somewhere. Definitely.
No worries. All right.
When it's back on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.